$1 into over $9,000. How did this YouTube subscriber do it? Stand by. Let's get it. Hello, guys. This is Ty, aka the Flip Man. Today we have another YouTube subscriber that has done his very first deal, if I'm not mistaken. He's out of the state of Pennsylvania. I think it's not one of the bigger cities that I would recognize, but I'm sure he'll let us know what market he's in. So, Corey, how's it going?
It's going pretty good. Just getting back from cashing checks and paying bills and doing a couple other things today, but going well.
Hey, that's what's happening, man. Corey actually sent me a text this morning letting me know he was leaving in about 5 minutes to go pick up his check, from a deal he had been working on or whatever. And I sent him the congrats on it. So what we're going to get into how he found this deal, how he ran into me, and how all that worked out. And the main thing is how he picked up his check today, and from A to Z, how that actually came about. So just to ask you just a snowball question. Who is Corey? Who are you? Where are you actually from? And what did you do before? Well, let me just ask you that. What's the name of the city or the town you're from?
So I live in a town called Boyertown. It's near Pottstown. Is a kind of the closest recognizable town, but I'm about 30 minutes from Reading, about an hour from South Philadelphia.
Okay.
Little suburb town, but yeah.
All right. Okay. All right. So just to before we get into how you got interested in real estate, what do you do currently? And lead up to that.
Yeah, right now I'm a construction project manager for Forever 21 and for so we build their stores. We get job. I'm a coordinator right now, making my way up to manager. So I do a lot of bidding on jobs that are going to need construction done to it. So a lot of similarities to figuring out numbers as far as scope of work that needs to be done to a house, like when you're trying to ballpark a number for demolition and for repair costs and things like that. So I do a lot of that, a lot of computer work, talking to other general contractors. We get a job and we bid it out to 4 different general contractors. Whoever's got the best number, we award the job, and then we manage the whole project from start to end. And a lot of work in real estate too when it comes to that. And but yeah, that's what I do now. That's my full-time job, other than being a dad and a husband. So
I got you. So how did you get interested in real estate, I guess would be the question. Whoa, I have to do a little house cleaning. Don't forget to take advantage of my 200 plus videos on wholesaling houses and real estate in general. Make sure you subscribe to my YouTube channel, and don't forget to tap the bell to turn on the notifications so you are alerted whenever I go live on YouTube and when I upload brand new videos. You can also take advantage of my podcast at flipmanpodcast.com for Apple and Android devices. You can follow me on Snapchat and Instagram at flipman.net. That's flipman.net. If you want a free copy of the one-page contract that I've used since 2003, you can download a free copy of that from my website, flipman.net, which you also can take advantage of my coaching and step-by-step courses on wholesaling houses and apartments, along with flipping vacant commercial buildings. If you want the closing doc that I've used to put the deals together, you can get it at freeclosingdoc.com. That's freeclosingdoc.com. I have something new I want you to take advantage of. Just go to mail2flip.com. This is an innovative way to stand out from the competition whenever you're doing your direct mail. You won't believe it, using the power of the picture of the owner's property, but you can also get an actual discount on your direct mail order by simply going to mail2flip.com. Don't forget, every Thursday night live, Adrian and I will have my actual Flipinars where you can get your questions answered directly from me every Thursday night at 7 p.m. Eastern. My live Flipinars you can access through flipinar.com, live on YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram. Now back to regular programming.
So what sparked my interest was one day I was just on YouTube and I got stuck on an ad before a YouTube video started I was watching, and it was an advertisement, and it was one of the gurus out there, and and normally I don't really look into the those ads or anything like that, anything really that's like a get rich quick scheme or anything like that, but he was just going through all the benefits of being a real estate investor. Work at home, you can make money. Phil Pustiaski, I don't know if you heard of him, but
yeah, I think I've heard of him also. Yeah,
Freedom Mentor or something like that. But I mean, so I don't know. It just that sparked my interest, and then I was just before today. I mean, even though what I'm doing sounds like a real promising career, it's still when you have a house and car payment and family and stuff, and I'm barely making enough. I mean, I took a picture of my gas tank before I got the check that I was on E. I just, I always had second jobs and things like that. But when I started looking into wholesaling, it just really sparked my interest. I've always been like, pretty good with talking to people and figuring out numbers and things like that, and just the due diligence and footwork that comes along with real estate. And the more videos I watched and things, it just really sparked my interest as far as something I could do and something I could do from home and on the side. And just the more I looked into it, the more appealing it became to me. And then eventually I got on your page with YouTube videos and with all the help out there. It almost was handed to me, this opportunity to make some extra money with all the help out there and things.
So thanks to Phil, allowed you to stumble onto me at some point.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah,
that's the power of YouTube. We've all been searching for one thing and ended up like, wow, okay, this is the answer that I really need. You start out with one particular video, but that's how the search results were working there. So, and I know when you contacted me originally, you had a couple of questions or what about the videos, but as we were talking before we got started here recording this, you said that what you basically did is watch the videos and you join our Thursday night Flipinar with me and Adria, where you can ask questions live or whatever, and we answered your questions. So let's get into. I know you originally had one deal that you were working on, but let's go back to that particular first deal that you were working on that fell through, and then we'll get to this one here that actually where you picked up your money today, and we'll get into how much you made.
Okay. Yeah. You want me to just like walk through how it
happened? How you even found the very first deal?
Yeah. Okay.
Well, it wasn't a deal because you didn't get paid on it, but what did you do initially to even start to start talking to sellers, I guess is what I'm asking.
Yeah. So, I was looking at YouTube videos for probably about 2 weeks maybe. And I just like any free time during work, anytime at all, into nights on my ride in, on my ride home, I just watched like all YouTube videos about, anything about wholesaling houses and build up my confidence and stuff. And then eventually I, got to the point where I was ready to take action. And that's, I think that's probably the hardest, beginning for beginners to take that first step. And I couldn't afford signs. I couldn't afford any kind of advertising or marketing at that moment. So I, on a piece of paper at work and with a bright red Sharpie, just wrote, "We buy houses," and my number. And I took a picture of it and I put it on Facebook Marketplace. And a lot of comments were people just messing around with me, and talking. And then I got a call though from one guy who said, "Hey, I saw your ad on Facebook Marketplace," and said he had a house for sale. His father passed away. They got this house they're trying to get rid of. So I went over and took a look at it, and with the area and everything, I just thought there could be an opportunity to make some money on it. And so, me and him went back and forth a little bit with talking. There was a mortgage out that was pretty high, and that was when I didn't really know what to do. There was a couple videos where you talk about mortgages, but I just, I didn't really know. It was just I was just an experience. So I took a shot on it, and I signed a contract with the guy for exactly what he owed on the mortgage. With the area and stuff, I still thought there was like a little meat left on the bone with the ARV and things like that. But I used your one-page contract, and then right away I just got on the ball with starting to market the property. And I used the biggest way I got hits from people was putting it on Facebook, which it was almost kind of like overexposure, just because everyone starts. Facebook. Everyone's on Facebook, so it was just a lot of back and forth with people, and and a lot of people that weren't really interested. They just kind of want to ask you questions, and then eventually, I got in contact with a guy who was he had a young family, and he really wanted to see the place. So I had some YouTube videos too. I took YouTube videos of the property that you suggested, and I sent them over to him, and that really helped too, because a lot of, I think out of 10 people who saw the YouTube videos, 2 after that were like, okay, I still want to see it. So I ended up meeting with the guy to check out the property, and he was really interested in it, and then he wanted to buy it, and I thought it was good to go. And then I found out he wanted to buy using a mortgage too, but I didn't know what I was doing. I still don't, but it was just seemed too risky. And I found out from some other people that, there can't be money. You can't make money with a mortgage and things like that.
Well, I guess I remember a question that you may have texted me or probably was asked on the Flipping or one of my videos, but I think I made it clear to you that because of how much they owed, the only way that you possibly could have did a deal was a lease option. And then, that's still going to be, you have to understand what the ins and outs of that are to do that. So what made you finally just walk away from that one at the end of the day?
So the owner of the house passed away, and it was an older gentleman. And about a month after that, his wife passed away, leaving behind the house to the kids, who they were a little older than me. And then through digging into it, and now I learned this moving forward, that if that happens, I got to know who's power of attorney or executive estate, because trying to find out none of them had power of attorney or anything like that. And I was doing all this work, calling the bank, seeing what they needed to do to get the power of attorney, and and then, which was fine. He was online with doing that, and I didn't really have anything better to do. I had nothing else in the line. But then it just came to the point where I had like a moment of clarity, where I'm just sitting there and I'm like, how much time am I wasting on this house trying to do this for this guy? And he probably wouldn't have ended up working anyway, just with with the way the house was, and with all of the hoops to jump through with power of attorney. And
what happens is that, and this happens a lot, but sometimes you still can close these deals. I've closed quite a few this way, but when the parents died, and if they didn't have a will, and then you have multiple kids, hopefully all of the kids that they had are still alive, because if one of them passed, then it branches off to their kids as heirs. And that's why they call it heir property. So In the East State, it'll be a little different on how that's handled. But here, if they say 3 kids and the parents died, which will leave, them having equal shares of ownership to the property, the title company / attorney will get them to sign what they call an heir affidavit document with 2 people that are not related, that say they know them and knew that they were their kids or whatever, and that normally will suffice. Just the problem is that a lot of times the kids can't agree on, number one, to sell it, and then number 2, to sell it at a price. All agree to sell it at a price. So that's normally some of the issues that you run into and don't even talk about if one of the kids has died and they have kids. So now, however many kids are from that particular sibling, then they get equal shares also as far as making the decision on the ownership and sale of the property. So let's get to the deal that you actually picked up your check on the day on. How did you go about finding this particular deal?
So with the other house I was just talking about, I got a lot of calls from people, and one of them was from a guy who was a cash buyer. He actually lived, I think, on the next road over from the house. So he said, he was walking by, he saw the house, and me and him established a connection from that other house, the one that ended up falling through. So I was going back and forth with him, kind of asking, and I, at the time I was like, okay, I was like, all right, well, let me know what you're looking for. If I find anything like that, I'll let you know. And, in between that time, I bought about 100 bandit signs, just blanks with the stakes. I actually used to be a sign maker. So I know of a warehouse where you can buy just the blanks and the stakes kind of at a little cheaper price. So, a little less, but anyway, I hand wrote on all the signs front and back. We buy houses. I put them up all over, and that was my only means of marketing other than the Facebook too. I kept kind of renewing that in all the areas, and so one day I got a call from the gentleman at the house that I just sold, and he told me, he wants to sell. He's got to move upstate to Scranton area, which is like the Poconos area. Got to go. He's got this house for sale. It was pretty good condition. And, he asked me if I'd be interested. So I got some details down, asked him if there's a mortgage right away. And he said, yeah, and let me know how much. And then like instantly in my head, I kind of just turned it off because of my last experience with the mortgage and all that. Mm-hmm. So anyway, I took it down, and just from looking at the house, I went on Google, just Googled the address and stuff. And I got a picture of a pretty good picture of it. It was only about 5 minutes away from me too. So I ended up sending that over to the guy that I established the connection with at the other house.
So the owner gave you a price?
Well, he told me about how much he owed, and then I saw the ARV, and
how much did he owe?
He owed $104,000 on the house.
And what did the ARV? What number did you come up with?
The ARV was around 125. So once I saw that, I was like, well, there's I don't think it's going to be worth it, but it was a pretty good house, and for some reason I was like, well, let me just send it over to the other guy that was interested in buying the previous house. Mm-hmm. And I sent it over to him, and he just was ecstatic. He was like, this is exactly what I'm looking for, and
wow.
And yeah, so it was just
how was he going to make money? Wait a minute. How was he going to make money? What was his goal? I don't want to get ahead. We'll get into that. So you sent over him, and he was excited about it. So what happened?
Yeah, the property comes with a 3-bay garage that the previous owner was doing business out, which is kind of, he's going to like end up renting that out on its own. And this guy, he comes to find out that he bought like a ton of properties in the past. So he's got something lined up to make some cash on it. But
okay, I see. So it wasn't the normal. It obviously is a long-term play for your buyer. And so having that huge discount that most cash buyers need wasn't wasn't a big issue with him. So what? So once the guy showed that he was excited about it, so what did you do next with the seller?
So at first I told him, I was like, hey, there's, I had to talk to it with my associate, I'll get back to you, but I don't think there's going to be anything we can do to help you. But I was like, I'll let you know if anything changes. And so I called him up right away and I said, hey, I think we'd be interested in this. Can we, check it out or talk a little bit more? And so me and him went back and forth. He runs a business out of his house, so it was a little hard to get a hold of him at times, and he's a little older, so he doesn't text or do anything like that. So, but he lives about 5 minutes away from me, so I could stop by a lot and just kind of like literally on my way home, just pull in and talk to him. And
you did a lot of follow up.
Yeah. In the beginning, at first it was a lot because I really, this is my first opportunity. I got really excited, so I just wanted to kind of focus on this one, while everything was lining up, and then. We came to an agreement on a price that I bought it from him for and one that I sold it for. And
so what was it? What was the contract price with the seller?
The seller, I bought it from him for $110,000.
Okay.
From the seller.
Okay.
And then I sold it. Is that what you want me to jump into?
Well, I guess when you all agreed on the 110, I'm assuming you put it on the contract, right?
Yeah, at that point, I already knew what I was going to sell it for, just because it was, it was kind of a unique situation with this guy wanting to buy it for, the price. So I made sure like the ducks were in a row before I bought it and everything. So I talked.
You put it on the contract. So you use my one-page contract, right?
Yep. Yeah. Okay. I got them right here. Both of them signed and dated, one from the seller and then one with the buyer here.
Okay. What did you give the seller earnest money of any amount?
I gave him $1 earnest money deposit with the seller.
Well, what did he say? Did he even question that, or
he laughed? Yeah, he was like, I don't want to spend it all in one spot.
So, did you actually transact the dollar? Give him the dollar?
Yeah, I gave him $1 right there. I had it it was about the only thing I had on me at the time. And I took a line from one of the other like interviews he did with another guy. He was a painter. He said, in order to make this a legal document, there has to be a money transaction or something like that. So, I gave him his.
We already know what the title of this video will be.
Yeah.
But anyway, so okay, you got the contract with your seller. So now, even though the buyer was excited and sounded like he wanted to do it, so what happened there? So as far as the contract with your buyer?
Yeah, so I ended up, he wanted to see it. So I emailed him just kind of a mock-up of what it would look like without signatures and things like that. But I just kind of filled it out pretty, as much as I could with our names on it, the address, earnest money deposit. I made sure to.
So, did you determine the earnest money deposit or what?
Yeah, and hold on one second. I'm just figuring out what it was. So I told him that I need a 2% earnest money deposit.
Okay.
There has to be that at signing. I have to have a 2% earnest money deposit at signing.
So that was 120, and so you pick up what 2,400 as far as earnest money.
Yeah.
What did he give you, a check, or how did he?
Yeah. So he has his own real estate attorney. Like he's bought a couple other houses in the past, and I don't know what he's done with it. I think he rents them out. But so he sent the contract over to him and his attorney, and kind of my guidelines of how I want things to go. And he came back to me the day that we signed and said, things are pretty good, but we were thinking, and he only wanted to give me like $500 at first, and I just said, I can't do that. There has to be more than that. So we ended up working out a deal, and all I did was add a separate line where he gave me $1,500 earnest money when we signed, and then after the title search was done, he would give me the remainder of the $2,400, which was $900.
Yeah.
So, and he gave me just a personal check for both of them.
Okay. All right. Did you go ahead and cash those, or just waited until the title was clear?
Oh no, I cashed them. I told him, I was like, I'll do it,
I'll advise people, don't do that
Yeah,
unless
I took a risk.
I did it myself in the early days, because if that title doesn't come back clear, you got to give him his money back. But once it's clear, though, that's yours, non-refundable or whatever. So, but
Yeah.
Look, Gator.
So another reason I did cash in and get everything before is because Joe, I wouldn't give names, but the seller showed me his title search, and I knew that it was clean. I knew it was before everything. So, like I said, a lot of things lined up really well for this deal to go through before I proceeded with the buyer on the end. You know what I mean? Like otherwise, it would have been a little sketchy. But so I knew everything was clean and beforehand. But normally,
I got you. All right, so we got contract A in place. Contract B, you're using the buyer's attorney / title company, I guess. Like I always tell people, don't even worry about that part of it. All right, and how did you? At what point, or was it just known from the beginning that you were going to assign it over to the buyer, or did you have to go into detail with the the real estate attorney to explain how you were going to get paid? I'm assuming by an assignment fee.
Yeah, kind of both. Like, I picked the title company, just a local one that was kind of in the middle for all of us. And
who closed the deal? Pennsylvania may be one of those states where title companies can close. Who closed the deal?
It was the title company.
Okay,
the guy's actually also a real estate attorney too.
Okay.
I'm sorry. What was your question then? It was.
No, I'm just saying. How had they ever done an assignment of contract transaction before, or did you have to explain it to them?
Yeah, he was.
That process,
he was real familiar with them and everything. And that was my first question. Like, have you guys ever done assignment fees or anything? He's like, oh yeah, plenty of them. So, I think I remember your one video about picking a title company or closing or something like that to make sure you get a investor friendly company. So right off the bat they were good to go, and like I could call them up like anytime really and just ask them questions that the buyer had or things like that, because me and him talked a lot about he had a lot of questions, which I actually found out down the road that the guy who bought it from the buyer had a bunch of houses, because he just seemed very, like he didn't know a lot of the answers and things like that. But either way, yeah, he and I ended up just scanning these in and emailing them over to him. And I just told them that I'm not really doing an assignment fee because I didn't want them to see how much I was getting.
Mm-hmm.
So he just did. I guess he just, there was two sets of
the HUD ones.
Yeah.
So he did one for the seller and one for the buyer.
Correct.
Because normally what they'll do is they'll sign the same document and it'll have, two sides of it or whatever on the HUD one sheet. But, you can do two separate HUDs or whatever. So, you picked a good title because you got fortunate there. Okay.
Yeah, I was really upfront and open with everyone, like right away. I was like, I'm an investor. I'm either going to, I'm going to try to sell this to someone else. And the seller didn't care, he was okay with that. And the buyer knew right away too that I was an investor from the previous house and stuff. So they knew I probably could have just done an assignment fee, but I don't know. With the first one, I just wanted to kind of, to keep things just to myself and, my immediate family and things like that. But the buyer knew I was going to make money on it and stuff like that.
Right, correct. All right. So the spread was actually $10,000, mm-hmm. but you ended up paying some of the fees, and I think we just calculated. I think you made $92.35, so $9,235.
Yep.
How did it get to that point where you had to agree to pay those fees? When was that discussed and determined?
Well, it was kind of just on my own. I did that because, I was talking with the real estate attorney, the closing company, the title company, and he said, a lot of times people will split the transfer tag, the title transfer.
Mm-hmm.
which, that on the original HUD-1 statement, they had that. They had me paying for it, and I called them up and I said, no, the end buyer is going to be paying for all that. And just kind of on my own, I said, well, I'll pay for the title search, because I knew it was $500, and I was like, I knew it was good already. I knew that. So I was like, I'll pay for that, and I'll pay for the conveyance fee was something that the original seller would have had to pay, and I gave him my word that he wouldn't have to pay $1. So it was like $120 or $130. So my stepmom's actually a retired real estate agent. She said, don't ever do that again, because if title search comes back not clear, still got to get paid. So I would have had to pay the $500 either way. But
yeah.
It was just kind of on my own that I stepped up and said I'd pay for it. I probably could have got away without paying it, but it's
okay.
I just wanted to kind of build some rapport with the guy, and because he wants me to get some other houses for him in the future and things like that. So, I just
I got you. That $500, you gotta, if a guy's gonna pay almost retail for stuff, or you find things that he wants.
Right.
You would definitely just assume that. Here's an example. And that same deal that he paid $120 for, and from your calculation, the ARV was $125. Now it sounds like he had some special use there because of the garages there, but it still doesn't matter. He still paid a lot for it. Basically paid full price for it. But assume you had that property on the contract for $60,000. It could have easily have been that. It wouldn't have been any different in anything that you did before to still get that type of money. Now, you probably wouldn't have assumed that he was going to pay $120 for it or whatever, but assume that he would have paid $90 for it. That still would have been a $30,000 payday. Now, the $9,200 sold that you made, there's still nothing to sneeze at. I'm just saying that the same effort it took you to make that would have been the same, same deal. Especially dealing with this particular buyer. Yeah. All right. So how long did it take from the point that you, how long did it take from the point that you located this opportunity till you put it in the contract? And then for how long from once you put it in the contract with the seller, it took to close?
It took maybe about 2 weeks longer than I wanted it to take. I would say about a month for everything said and done. It was, the seller lived there. They were full, they had a full house and everything, and he was running a business. So, in order to, guy's a little older too, he had to pack everything up. Me and the seller wanted to close, about 2 weeks ago, but the buyer just really wanted to take his time, and he just kept stressing that. So I didn't want to tick him off too much or anything. So we agreed on this date. Title search took about 7 days, which wasn't too bad. But so we picked today just because I had something going on last week too, and we couldn't do it. So towards the end of last week. So about a month. I mean, we signed the contracts on 13th of November. They were signed. Probably about 2 weeks before that, so about a month, a little over a month.
Okay, all right. Oh, that's what's happening. Okay, hey, so you got that first deal. Sure, it was a wonderful day. The day still is going on.
Yeah.
So what's next, man? What's your game plan? You paid a few bills. It's right on time for Christmas. I'm sure your wife is getting a little extra that she probably wasn't expecting.
Yeah.
Whatever. Yeah, probably your son also. But so what's next as far as the business? We're about to go into 2018, so everybody's going here and ready to go. Uh-huh. So what are your plans? I guess to use some of that money for marketing, or so what's next?
Yep. Yeah. A little bit of that. I'm actually looking into different avenue that's kind of like an online business that I've been wanting to start. So that'll definitely help with a little kickstart of getting that going. Plus I want to get some actual vinyl letters on signs this time. I wasted my money on the biggest, fattest, most expensive Sharpie markers. And within 4 to 5 days, they're completely faded out, and I got
Yeah.
one of those paint markers that you recommended, and it's going on about 3 weeks, and it's perfect condition.
Oh yeah, yeah. Those
Word.
Michael's craft store is the only place. I'm
Yeah.
sure you can order them offline or whatever. That's the
Yeah.
only place I've been able to find them where you can just walk in and get the red.
Yeah.
They used to have blue. I don't know why they stopped making the blues, but I get red and black if I'm going to do something like that, just to offset, you know, to make it a little bit more noticeable or whatever. But
Exactly what I did, red and blue with I got mine from AC Moore, but it's same type of store. They're big
okay,
up here.
all right. So, but you're going to go ahead and order some printed signs.
Yeah, at least a couple. Like I said, I used to work at a sign shop, so I'm going to be doing a lot of like the application and things like that. So I got a little discount on them. But and then I also, from about maybe like 2 months ago, I bought a list from ListSource.
Okay.
And I finally, I hand wrote a lot of them, so I just want to get going with that. Get the rest of them, buy the rest of the stamps and things like that, and put them away. And
I have just since you mentioned the direct mail part of it, some people may be familiar with it already, but I'm going to start promoting. I think I am. Let me just say this. This is a little bit unique way of sending out mail. I'll discuss it with you after we finish this, but I don't want to put it out there again. I'm not really ready to go with it yet, but I sort of thought of it myself, but not in this way where it's more like a streamlined way of doing it, but on the direct mail. But it's all about this action. So as long as you take, if it were me with that first deal, you made a significant amount. I don't know what your bill situation. You have to take care of what you have to take care of, but make sure you probably have enough for at least 3 months of marketing. That's the way I would advise you to go with it. You know what I'm saying? No matter what happens, well, if you did this, if you went ahead and bought, we'll just say, I don't know how you're gonna try to do your signs yourself or whatever, but I know you could probably buy, 500 bandit signs for $500. That'll last you. You know what I'm saying? That'll last you, a few months or whatever. And with the direct mail, that can be all over the board because you can go as little as $200 or $300 up to several thousand. So it'll just depend on the direct mail and how you do it. So, but the main thing, man, you close that first deal, you put 9+ racks in your pocket, so it's real. That's the main thing. So 2018, hey, sky's the limit, man.
Right.
Use that springboard to dive in the ocean and dive in the ocean of cash with this wholesale game.
Yeah.
So anything you want to share before we close this out, man?
Just, take advantage of the videos out there. If you're like me and can't even afford, a couple $100 for mentoring and stuff, like it's all out there. Just, it's all about how big your heart is, how big, your drive is, your motivation to do this. And, you get out what you put in. So just, people out there that are just starting out or even going through like a dry season right now, just keep at it. And, the deals will come if you keep looking and take advantage of your videos and just, there's hundreds of people out there doing them on YouTube that you can, string together some stuff and, and when you get your first deal, do the mentor program or whatever. But yeah, I had a lot of, opposition at first within the family and things like that. Or just,
I bet you don't now.
No, not at all. Yeah. Now,
what you should have did is whenever you had already picked up 2,400 of it. So when you got that up there, what is that, $600 to $800 or so dollars? Y'all should have got it all in $1 bills and just
I know.
Man, that's what's happening, man. So I'm sure you and your family are going to have I don't know if you celebrate Christmas, but a good Christmas or whatever. And that's the name of the game, man.
Well,
we know wholesaling works in Pennsylvania, which we already know that. But so again, Corey, I really appreciate you sharing your story and your journey to your first payday. And again, thanks. And we'll see you guys on the flip side.
All right. See ya.